Hello, everybody. Welcome to Premier League predictions for round 25, hot on the heels of our FA Cup special. And it was a special weekend for me, Mikey, because I got the win. And don't you go giving me it's just because the EFL teams were in, because I got two bob-ons, and one of them was all Premier League, Man United, Leicester. Of course, I forecast a dodgy winning goal that should have been disallowed for Man United in the last minute. And Blackburn 0, Wolves 2. So, Mikey, you outdid me on the outcomes. I got the two bob-ons, 8-5 win for me. Of course, because I've won, we're going to add that to the aggregate and the weekly. Mikey, I think all the audience will agree with that because I need to catch up. Mikey 10, Ben 7 in the weekly. Mikey 122, Ben 116 in the aggregate. Welcome along, Mikey. Good evening. Can we have a word for Leyton Orient, who are my guilty pleasure this season, ahead against Man City for 40 minutes?
Yeah, brilliant. And yeah, this is a Manchester City team that are playing Real Madrid as we speak, aren't they? And you look at the lineup, and I'm expecting. I don't know why I've got this idea in my head that Man City are missing loads of players, and then the cameraman sort of scans across, and there's all these superstars. They're just missing Rodri, really, aren't they? But yeah, fair play to Leyton Orient. Fantastic performance from them, and yeah, a little bit unlucky not to get to extra time.
There we go. Right, we want you to get involved. We're back to Premier League action now. You know the deal here. All the fixtures are typed very neatly by me in the description. So use my work, copy and paste, Control-C, Control-V, and get your own damn predictions in. Score yourself as normal. 1 point for a correct outcome, home, away, or draw. 3 points if you get the scoreline bob on. I had 2 of them out of 10. How about that, Mikey? You can see I'm high on life here. And give yourself a bonus point. Mikey was well rogue, going for about 3 of them last week, if your scoreline has 5 or more goals. It's Groundhog Day to start with, Mikey, because these two played in the FA Cup at the same stadium 6 days before they're going to play the opening Premier League game. It's Brighton versus Chelsea.
Bloody repeats. No, I like them. I like them.
Yeah, I like them. Yeah, where's my Scotch egg?
Yeah, at least it's a fixture that's got some bad blood in it, and yeah, a little bit of tension between the two sides. Obviously, Brighton weren't happy with the way things went with Graham Potter leaving them in the lurch a little bit and taking all of his staff with him, and obviously a few players have migrated across to Chelsea as well. Cucurella and Caicedo will almost certainly start again at the Amex in this one. I can't imagine Sanchez will. Another iffy performance from him, Ben. Both of these teams are great when things are going well. So many exciting attacking players, Mitoma for Brighton and Palmer for Chelsea, just to name one on each side. But when they're bad, they're really, really bad. And I think both sets of fans will probably be a little bit confused with the way things have gone this season, because at times it's looked really promising in both camps. But at the moment, yeah, just falling below expectations a little bit. And for that reason, I'm struggling to pick between them. I'm going to back Chelsea to get the second goal that they didn't manage in the FA Cup, and I'm going to go Brighton 2, Chelsea 2.
Okay, I think I am going to flip the score from the first game and go for a Chelsea win. I can't quite remember. I might have gone for that previously anyway. But maybe Chelsea with that little bit of extra quality, I think, to get it right second time of asking. I think Brighton might have been, someone fact check me on this in the comments, might have been better away than home for portions of this season. I know they've had some draws against some of the lower lights at home. So I'm going to go Brighton 1, Chelsea 2, Chelsea to get it right this time around. Leicester versus Arsenal, excuse me, Mikey. This was closer than you would have imagined last time around. And I think this was a Stevie Cooper game still. I remember Leicester taking the lead and Arsenal having to come back in this one at the Emirates and getting the job done in the end. I don't read much into Leicester taking Manchester United close. Manchester United are all over the place at the moment, and it was the Cup as well. So I'm imagining an efficient Arsenal away win. I'm going to take a bog standard Leicester 1, Arsenal 3.
Okay, that's a scribble for me. So I'll go Leicester 0, Arsenal 2, 2-0 to the Arsenal. Ruud van Nistelrooy will obviously be up for this one. Ben, he's got a lot of history with the Gunners, hasn't he? And Arsenal have just had a nice break because they're already out of the FA Cup. They're over absorbing all of the culture that there is on offer in Dubai, Ben. So that's laying around in the sun in a luxury hotel. Who would enjoy that
with the
most?
crypto bros.
Who would enjoy that most in the Arsenal team, do you think? I'm going to answer it for you, Ben. Mr. Ben White, who is possibly going to be back in the Arsenal squad for this one. Just a word on Leicester. Jamie Vardy has 11 Premier League goals in 17 appearances against Arsenal. So a really good record, but he hasn't scored against them since 2020. So for that reason, I'm going for the Arsenal win.
Can I just say, Ben White's complete apathy to football is what makes him great. It's no F's given, and that transmits into a beautiful language style there. Good. You're up first this time for Ipswich. Aston Villa versus Ipswich. Let's be completely biased. We were hoping Villa were going to have a horrible away first leg playoff game, but they've got a spare week, haven't they? They're playing the cup on Sunday against Spurs, was it?
Yeah, they won 2-1. So yeah, a day less than Ipswich. It was 2-2 the last time Villa and Ipswich faced off, and I think Villa were on the back of a European game in that one, and we sort of took advantage of that. Delap absolutely ran riot, and I know Diego Carlos was playing, and he's now in Turkey. And I think Pau Torres might have been his defensive partner that day, and Konza played right back. Torres and Konza, incidentally, can't play in this one. So there's a bit of an injury. Well, there is an injury crisis at the back.
Tyrone's
for Villa
again, isn't he?
Yeah, but I think Mings might be back fairly soon, but I doubt he'd be risked this early. Kamara started there in the cup, and I heard that he was maybe a little bit uncomfortable there. So that's maybe an area that Ipswich can look to exploit. However, that being said, Villa have a fantastic midfield, and then the attacking three of Ramsey, Morgan Rogers, Leon Bailey behind potentially Ollie Watkins, who could be back. That's pretty tasty.
Rashford,
and Marcus Rashford, of course, as well, who incidentally scored against Ipswich for Manchester United. Wouldn't it just be typical if he does it again? Yeah, I'm worried about this one, Ben. I am going to Villa Park. I'm going to try and enjoy the day, but once again, I'm finding myself backing against my own club. I'm going Villa 2, Ipswich 1.
Yeah, I mean, I don't mind the prediction, but I don't like the prediction if you know what I mean. Great away day, by the way. One of the maybe my favourite away stadium, actually. Villa Park, absolutely brilliant. Oozes history, doesn't it? Can I give Ipswich a point here, Mikey? Oh, if they were playing in Europe, I think I might have been able to, but I don't think I can. I do quite like your 2-1 giving Ipswich a goal. I'm just with the Villa margin of victory by a single goal. So, being you've taken the 2-1, we'll call that a scribble. I'm going to go Villa 1, Ipswich 0. I'm going to go Villa 1, Ipswich 0. And yeah, just for the avoidance of doubt, if you're an emotionally led Ipswich fan, we, of course, would love to be absolutely and utterly, totally wrong about this, but we have to say how we think it's going to play out.
Blue Monday is proudly brought to you in partnership with our friends at Atwell Solicitors, your ideal legal partner for work on property or business law. Their client care has repeatedly been recognised as outstanding, and they are people-focused with a plain English approach which sets them apart. They have offices in Ipswich, Colchester and London, and to find out more, head to atwells.com.
Let's move on to Fulham versus Forest. The Harry Arter derby, that is a deep cut, and a deep cut in Mr. Marianakis' wallet with all he paid him to do. Not very much, apparently, allegedly. What do I think on this one? I mean, I've loved Forest this season. Fulham, it's difficult this, Mikey, because we tend to be Fulham, both teams to still kind of open, but we tend to be Villa winning by 1 goal and getting a clean sheet. So I think the kind of homogenisation of those two outcomes is a 1-1 draw, isn't it? I want to pay respect to both sides. If this was at City Ground, I'd be back in Forest. Although I believe Fulham might have won there earlier in the season, possibly. I'll fact check that while we're talking. I'm going to go 1-1 and try and respect both sides.
Yeah, I'm respecting both teams as well. Both, let's not forget, off the back of very good Premier League results. Fulham winning at Newcastle late on, and Forest hitting Brighton for 7. Just incredible stuff from both teams. And then they followed it up with really solid wins in the FA
Oh,
Cup as well.
Forest are playing right now as we speak as well. And on behalf of every other Ipswich fan in the world, come on Exeter, but we love you, Forest.
Yeah, I can't believe I've just slipped that in as if they've already won. Sorry, Fulham. Fulham rested a lot of players. I think I was thinking back to Forest in the last round where they rested players. Muniz or Jimenez. That's the choice that Marco Silva's got to make. I'm going for Fulham 2, Nottingham Forest 3.
Just a quick update. Exeter did lead in that one. We've played 17 minutes. It's 1-1. The attack momentum graph looks very Forest heavy. But Josh McGuinness, remember him, scored for Exeter. So it's 1-1 in that one. You can tell exactly what time we're recording this. Sorry, Mikey. And with all that, I didn't pay any attention to what score you predicted, mate.
I just went for chaos in the end. Fulham 2, Forest 3.
Oh, wow. Okay, bonus point shout for Mikey. Who we go? Man City, Newcastle, Sylvain Distin?
Yeah, I like it. Didi Hamann? Not really. That's more of a Liverpool.
No.
He did play for Liverpool, for Newcastle briefly, but yeah, he's more of a Liverpool man. But yeah, this is a huge game. Only goals scored separates Manchester City from Newcastle ahead of this one. Surely, I know that this game is sandwiched right in between Real Madrid at home and Real Madrid away, but you can't rotate against Newcastle, can you, Ben?
You might have to. As you're talking now, I'm just going to tell you to try and give you a bit of help that in the Champions League, they've played 20 and it's 0-0.
Okay.
It won't end 0-0 if it's Man City, Real Madrid.
Yeah. And obviously, City can be forgiven for having half an eye on it, but still the easiest route into the Champions League for next season, which they need, let's face it, is to finish in the top 4. So they can't be throwing this game against Newcastle. That being said, though, Newcastle full of confidence because of the cup wins recently. Really impressive the way that they put Arsenal away at St James's last week in the Carabao Cup in particular. And I think Murphy and Gordon on the counter-attack against Manchester City could be just like the Tottenham win at Man City a few months ago, which I attended. But I'm going to go for a narrow away win in this one. Man City 1, Newcastle 2.
Interesting. I am going to flip that. I'm just playing tactically here to try and make up some points on you. It's never a terrible idea to predict a Man City home win, isn't it? And both teams to score, I think, acknowledges what a good side Newcastle are. Yes, I can see your point that if Man City are at their ragged worst, which I still can't believe we're saying this season, then yeah, you could get a nice goal scoring day for Newcastle. But let's go for Pep, as you say, to be taking this one seriously. And God, imagine they have a win in the 2 legs against Real Madrid and beat Newcastle. It'd be a very, very good week potentially for Manchester City. Southampton, Bournemouth, which if I call a derby, all of the comments will start crying.
It's the battle of the New Forest donkeys, Ben. That's what they play for. In this one.
That's what it is. If that offends anybody, I genuinely don't know what to say at this point. But there you go, football fans, Mikey. I've got to back Bournemouth here. Surely, haven't I? I know Southampton had a great win at Ipswich, but hey, I think you and I know better than most. Ipswich and confidence and crumbling in.
Do we need to hold our hands up for the Southampton fans that are still tuning into this? Because we both predicted Ipswich to win, didn't we, against Southampton?
Yeah, oh God, no.
So hands up.
Fair
and
play.
Credit to Southampton,
great.
Although I'm not sure how much pleasure they're getting out of anything really at the moment.
This entire season, yeah. No, great win, yeah. Fair play. What I'm saying is, Mikey, I don't know how viable or repeatable it is against a side who've been as good as Bournemouth had this season. I'm going to take the clean sheet win for Bournemouth. Southampton 0, Bournemouth 2.
Yeah, I'm going to go for a bonus point here. I'm going Southampton 1, Bournemouth 4. I've underrated Bournemouth at times this season. I underrated them at the start of the season, and I keep looking at all of the players that they've got missing and think that they'll trip up. But no, I'm all in on Bournemouth here. They might have Sinistera back, which gives them another bench option at the attacking end. Yeah, it hasn't really worked out for him so far. But yeah, they're only 3 points off 4th, and Man City and Newcastle playing against each other. If they draw, Bournemouth could find themselves in a really nice position.
Amen. Amen indeed. West Ham versus Brentford.
Yeah, West Ham have only won one of their last 8 Premier League derbies, and Brentford, I think, over the last couple of years have had a really good record in London derbies. Both had a rest because they're out of the cup. And I think Jared Bowen steps up here for Graham Potter. He's back fully fit now, and after a little break, I think he's going to be the difference maker in this one. So, yeah, sorry, Brentford fans, having a great season, but I'm going to go for a narrow West Ham 2-1 win.
Of course, the Said Ben Rama derby, one of my EFL goats there. I'm going to go for the draw here. I can just see those Brentford attackers being able to get a couple of goals against a kind of newly forming sort of strategy under Graham Potter. I haven't played a Desmond yet. I'm going to play a Desmond here and go West Ham 2, Brentford 2. It's Crystal Palace versus Everton. Palace playing in the FA Cup last night as we're recording. So 2 nights ago, as you're watching this, against Doncaster, getting the win and a brilliant tie. They've got Millwall in the next round. You absolutely love to see it unless you work for the police anywhere in South London. It's going to be a lively old night. Is it going to be a lively old night here? We've been loving, well, we haven't been loving David Moyes. We've been very respectful of the work David Moyes is doing at Everton as they pull away from mine and Mikey's team, Ipswich. I think I'm going down the middle again, mate. I know I've had 2 draws already. Here comes another one. Completely boring prediction. This Palace 1, Everton 1. And I think both managers are happy with that.
Yeah, that's a scribble for me. So I'm going to have to... I think I'm going to go for the Palace win. This is the near enough the 1 year anniversary, or first anniversary, sorry, because anniversary means year, I think, for Glasner at Palace. He's done a fantastic job there. That was very Alan Partridge of me, wasn't it? Or Richard Madeley, take your pick. He's lost a few players, but what he has done is he's really got the best out of some of the players that were already there and perhaps a little bit underappreciated under the previous regime. So that's Henderson in goal, Hughes in midfield, and Mateta up front. He's an absolute beast this season. Everton safe and flying under David Moyes, and I'm only backing against them because you've taken the 1-1 draw. Fair enough.
What score are you going for, Mikey?
Sorry, 1-1. No, of course I'm not. That's what you went for. I'm going for Palace to win 2-1.
Just explain now. Mikey is a new parent and doesn't know what day of the week it is or what his own name is. So you need to not give him grief about that little faux pas there.
This has been the longest Wednesday of my life.
I hope I'm improving it in the middle of the night here doing these predictions. Liverpool Wolves, Mikey. Is this Emlyn Hughes or Diogo Jota I've come up with?
We'll have to go for Jota because I hear Emlyn Hughes. All I can think of is Emir Hughes.
Okay.
Yeah, this fixture was hard work for Liverpool at Molineux, I seem to remember. And Wolves were still playing that really considered football under Gary O'Neill. And they did cause Liverpool's backline quite a few issues. Obviously, the Reds have been dumped out of the cup. They did rest a lot of players in that game, so they should be fairly fresh for this one. And they will fully expect a response. Wolves, though, got handed to them off the back of a really impressive win against Aston Villa. And then they did a really professional job in the cup against Blackburn. So the feeling's probably pretty good at Wolves, but it's Liverpool away, isn't it? You've got to go for the home win. I'm going for 3-1.
And according to the Blackburn board, all of the new signings played very well that they'd given to John Eustace in the game against Wolves. We'll watch how that all plays out on Twitter this week. Yeah, I mean, as sure as night follows day, I predict Liverpool win on this show. Although, fair play Plymouth, the utter heroes of the FA Cup 4th round weekend. I don't mind 3-1. I think Wolves are less likely to... The whole both teams to score defeat was very Gary O'Neill, wasn't it? So maybe I'll go for the shutout here. Do you know what? I'm going to go comfortable. Let's go all in. Liverpool 3, Wolves 0. Spurs versus Man U rounds us out. I don't know what the hell to do for this. Are Spurs getting any players back this weekend?
I don't think so. I think Mickey van der Ven's still missing.
That's the problem, isn't it? The back four, yeah. I mean, I think I might just play for a high scorer for a bonus point. Maybe one of these two to win by a single goal. Do you know, I'm thinking of going for 4-3, not even a 3-2. Who would win 4-3? Spurs would lose if it was 4-3, wouldn't they? That's peak Spurs. Yeah, let's do it. This has got to be a 5-pointer, Mikey, surely. We'll see how we're going anyway. Spurs 3, Man United 4. No logic, complete chaos. Neither side's very good. Can they both lose? No, so we'll give United the win.
Yeah, I've gone for Spurs to edge this one 2-1. It's the battle of the...
It's pretty boring, Mike.
It's about who can be the least mad. Yeah, especially as I've written here, I'm really struggling with it. They're both just
I was
chaos,
too.
but maybe it's because they're both going to be pretty bad. But it might go right for Spurs. Son has stepped up in the past when they've been missing a centre forward. He did it when Kane was missing a few times. They're out of both cups, which might help them in the long run, but it's not going to make any difference here. But yeah, United weren't great last week against Leicester and are still struggling. I wouldn't be surprised by any outcome in this game apart from 0-0. But yeah, I'm going for the narrow Spurs 2-1 win.
There you go. That's our 10. Best of luck to you lot, especially with that last one. Us two scrambling here. Not a clue about Spurs Man United. So extra points if you get that one right. Remember, copy and paste all the fixtures from the description down there. Get your own predictions in. We deliberately haven't done the Wednesday night rearranged Goodison Park final Merseyside derby, just so you guys can have a full 3 days at the whole slate in terms of your own predictions. Gets a bit more longevity out of that. So we do acknowledge that game will happen after this video comes out, but we haven't covered it. Normal deal, guys. Give yourself a point for a correct outcome, home, away, or draw. Give yourself 3 points for a correct scoreline. 4 points for a bonus point if your prediction has 5 or more goals. Like my prediction, Tottenham 3, Man United 4. Mikey had a couple, didn't he? Southampton 1, Bournemouth 4, and Fulham 2, Forest 3. Get involved in the comments, and we will see you next week for another round of Premier League predictions.